All right, in this video, we are going to talk about finishing the first circle or the middle circle. Yesterday or last time, we did yellow, yellow, orange, orange, red, orange, red. I didn't get those done, but I will. So, however, let's just assume they're done. I'm now going to move on to yellow, green, green, blue, and so forth. So to start the yellowish green, I'm going to start with my yellow, and if you remember, last time I talked about really swirling this around to loosen up this paint. We want it to be a very dry, thick paint. We also want to make sure that as we're mixing our colors, we keep our piles of paint fairly small, about the size of a quarter. So again, as I mix this up, I'm going to say, okay, that's pretty much what I need. Let me scoop up just a little bit thicker. And to get the yellow-green, I'm going to use yellow with just a very, very small amount of blue. And I mean so small that I'm just going to touch it like 3 times on there and see what happens. So when I mix that up, it definitely has changed it. I think I'll swipe it 3 more light times. And there we go. Now I'm starting to get something that's starting to resemble a yellowish green. In the camera, it might look a little bit darker than it really is, but as I paint it here, you can see it's not yellow, it's not a real intense green, it's more of what we'd call a neon green or something similar to that. Okay, so while I still have this painted and in my tray, I'm going to go ahead and mix more blue with it. In fact, this time, I think I'll just wash my brush out a little bit so that as I grab some blue from the blue cake, I'm starting to get blue in my brush and not just a lot of yellow. So I'm going to add that until again I get something darker that resembles more of what we'd call a normal average green. Okay, I have varied this enough, so if I put this right here, I think I want this to be darker though. And I mean more intense, maybe a little bit thicker paint is what I want to say. So I'm going to go ahead and try just a little bit more blue, not as much water, and I'm going to go ahead and paint that. You will want to turn your paper. This is, again, hard to do on the camera because I can't turn my paper as freely as you can. But turn your paper as you need to so that you keep those lines and edges very straight and clean. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is a blue-green. This means that I'm going to have primarily blue with just a little bit of yellow in there. So I have put quite a bit of blue on my brush now. I've been swabbing it, or excuse me, picking it up over here. Quite a bit, quite a bit, quite a bit. And I'm going to mix it in. I'm going to get something that is a blue-green aqua color. Okay, and I'm getting close. I think I could use just a tiny bit more blue. So I'm going to go ahead and I added just a very small amount of water just to make that blue a little easier to pick up. And that is the color that I'm looking for. Okay, again, it's a little tricky to see on the camera, but it is definitely kind of an aqua color. And so I have mixed it in my brush. I'm going to paint that right here. That is not a clear blue. It is a blue-green. And I'll paint it in this spot. Okay, once I get done with that, I'm going to wash my brush out. I'm going to take a moment to even make sure that my blue is clean. Okay, got a little bit of yellow on there, so I'm just going to wipe my blue because now I want to have a very clean blue that goes right in the blue area. So I'm going to take a moment and just swirl my brush around, loosen up my blue, and I'm going to paint the blue section right here. Nice clean blue, nice heavy blue. We shouldn't be able to see through it. Otherwise, that tells us we have way too much water. And you can see mine's a little bit light in some areas, so I'm going to take a little bit of water out of my brush and get that tip done. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is blue, violet, violet, red, violet, and red. And I think while I'm doing this, I don't really need to say much. We just know that blue violet's gonna have a little bit of red in it. I will tell you, I do not want to mix in this area anymore because that has yellow in it. And I certainly do not want yellow in with my violet. So I'm gonna take a moment and just clean my tray. You can, I don't know if you saw me, but I dipped it in water and just cleaned it up, and my tray is as good to go as I can get it. So I do have blue in my brush, and I'll go ahead and make my blue violet with a little bit of red. Okay. Some people would actually call this an indigo. All right, next thing's gonna have more red in it. This is what we would call a Vikings purple. Okay. Next one is going to be what we call red violet. So in the tray, I'm going to add a whole lot more red to this. All right, I'm going to take a moment, clean my brush out. Oops. I'm going to take a moment, clean my red, because now I'm going to do straight red. I can work directly on the cake as long as there's nothing mixed in there. I should have already had my red done, if you remember from the first day. Most of you probably already have yours done. Once you get these done, you're going to want to clean your brush, get some fresh water, clean your tray, and we're going to go ahead and move on then to what we call the tints. And that would be the end of this video. That's the tertiary and the primary and the secondary. Primary colors are your red, your blue, and your yellow. Secondaries are your violets, your green, and your orange. And your tertiaries are these in between, like the one I just did for the red-orange.